to another episode of the On the Good Hoops podcast, episode 108. As per usual, joining me is my younger brother, Matt Driscoll.
Always a pleasure. Very excited to get this episode started. I found out today is the 5-year anniversary of me moving into college as a freshman, so I felt very old today. So I'm excited to bring the vibes back up on a Thursday. Excited to be here.
Which means 2 days from now was also my 5-year anniversary of moving into my senior year dorm, actually. So I feel old as well. And also joining me for the second time, last time was July of 2024, is Tyler Britton, aka Hoop Venue.
Appreciate you having me, man. I'm excited to be back on. What was I've been thinking about this. What was the topic last time I was on here? I cannot remember.
So we compared our top 25 list because your list just came out.
I do remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
I did the top 25 series. That was actually the last time
I
did the series, I think. Yeah, that was the last time I did the video series. And I remember, I specifically remember you being a lot higher on Jaylen Brown than me.
Which, yeah. I'm sure that's very surprising.
We like to keep it unbiased here.
Yeah. Speaking of being high on players, Matt, this is actually the first time we're having someone on the show that is higher on a certain player than me. Who do you think that player is?
Current player?
Current player.
Rudy Gobert?
Rudy Gobert.
Yes.
He's the top. So, Tyler, just like you, in my fantasy group chats, I'm always fighting for my life about the impact of Rudy Gobert, and I'm clearly and I think you're the one other person, maybe not one other person. There's other people that see it. So I'm happy finally for the first time we have another Rudy Gobert. I don't know if you consider yourself a fan, but maybe
absolutely I do, man. That's the good fight. I've been fighting the Rudy Gobert since the bubble, man. This has been a long time coming, and I actually was just talking with Sean on my podcast a few days ago about how it feels like the tides are turning. I don't know if it's just I'm in this little bubble on Twitter, but I feel like Rudy Gobert's been getting a lot of respect over the past 2 weeks. And it's man, 6 years ago, I would have been thrilled at the way he's getting talked about right now. Because I remember fighting for my life during the 2021 playoffs while the Clippers were having that comeback and whatnot. We used to be in the dirt, but as Rudy Gobert fans, man, potentially defensive player of the year number 5 coming up.
That would be insane.
Absolute monster, man. Absolute monster.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, usually, the Chris's jersey is one of my better purchases after a couple of beers. Usually, it's $50 on McDonald's, but this time it was $11 on a Rudy Gobert jersey from DH Gate. It's one of my more proud moments.
That's a great purchase.
It's my third time, repping this after wearing a sweatshirt. So before we get into anything else, joining us is our older brother, John Driscoll.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hey Tyler, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, man.
I caught the tail end of that conversation, and I just wanted to throw in. I think I saw a tweet maybe 2 months ago. It was probably a month and a half ago. I think Gobert was plus 1,400 for Depoy, and he was probably in the 6th place, I want to say. And someone was that's great value. You should hop on that right now. Now he's in 2nd, right behind Chet, So I think it's trending that way. And it almost seems like that's how it trends most years, that he's always in that 2nd or 3rd slot. And then he kind of just starts showing people why he is deserving of that.
I do wonder what, in terms of just the betting odds and stuff, I wonder how much of that they bake in the whole narrative of he's already won 4. He has to really separate himself to win a 5th, because I feel by going off of just what's happened in the season, he should probably be the favorite, assuming Wemby doesn't hit the 65 game threshold, because he would be the betting favorite if he wasn't on the border. I do think Rudy would probably have the lead over Chet if there wasn't the historical context attached to it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, we're definitely going to dive into historical context for awards for sure, because obviously the main topic. But before we do that, Tyler, at the beginning of every episode before we got to episode 100, we used to give the players that used to wear the jersey numbers. But since we're past that, instead we're doing players with those birthdays. So the NBA players, we don't have too many birthdays. George King is the only active day player. Not too familiar with him. Bob Davies is the most, again, not very that famous, but he's definitely the best player all time with birthday. So happy birthday to them. For baseball, happy birthday to Matt Holliday, definitely one of the more underrated players of the late 2000s, early 2010s, in my opinions. And I was scrolling down the baseball reference page. There's a guy named Edwin Diaz with that birthday, but it's not that Edwin Diaz. It's another guy because he had a negative. Yeah, he had a negative 0.2 WAR. I'm like, wait, that's not right. And then
That's
football
slightly worse than Edwin Diaz's last year, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was 2019 that he first got to the Mets. Yeah. And then football is where it gets a big jump. It's happy birthday to Drew Brees, Deebo Samuel, and Randy White. So two Hall of Famers, and Deebo Samuel, one of the better receivers of this era. So definitely some separation there for sure.
Shout out to Drew Brees, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, yeah, as you guys can see in the title, so a couple weeks ago, yeah, I mentioned it last week. I also mentioned it on NBA Max a couple weeks ago. I was on House of Highlights, 1 fan versus 10 haters. The video came out. So it's going to be 2 weeks ago tomorrow, actually. And I was considered one of the haters for Jokic, but I'll definitely dive deeper into that once I hear Tyler's point of view. But Tyler was the one Jokic fan, and let me tell you, there were once I got the text that like, oh, we want to have you on for the Jokic one. There were very few people that I thought, okay, I'm like, Tyler was definitely on the short list. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of there's like some Jokic fans. No, Tyler's one of them. I low-key thought it was going to be Swipa from Player's Choice. Was maybe one of them. I thought maybe Carson from Nerd Stash. He's also a big Jokic guy. Of course, I also thought Jokic, Joe Star Jokic. I mean, it's both of them. By the way, shout out to him. He got engaged the other day. And then Tyler, of course, who's been fighting for Jokic for years. As a matter of fact, actually, you probably don't remember this because you've debated people on Jokic for a long time. I think our first interaction was like one of the first reply tweets. So I think it was like it was either 2021 or 2022. I think it was 2022 where like Jokic was having a great game, and then you tweeted, Jokic is Nikola Jokic, best player in the world, and then I just replied, "There's no way in hell." I said like, and then I said like, I'm not even being disrespectful. He's not even top 3. And then you said like, no, it is disrespectful. Then I just said like, no, like LeBron, Kawhi, and KD, I still think they're better, and that was just kind of the end of it. But then a year later, I'm like, oh wait, no, this guy was right the entire time. Jokic is definitely up there, but. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that at all, but I'm sure you've had many interactions like that.
I was gonna say I don't remember that specific interaction, but I've had probably 50 that follow that exact same kind of description in terms of I was a little bit early on Jokic. I do think I didn't think he was the best player in the world in 2021. I remember I did still lean towards actually Steph I had as the best player in the world in 2021 during that run. And then it was kind of like Steph, Giannis, Jokic in this kind of tier. I do remember, though, back then, kind of the conversation around Jokic, even going into like 2023, was that his defense is so damaging relative to the position he plays, center, how important that is, that not only was he not the best player because of that, it was said, and obviously this isn't everyone out there, but there was a pretty general consensus that you could not win a championship with Jokic as your center because it was too important of a defensive position and teams would just put him in the pick and roll. And then that kind of got like bolstered after the 2021 second round when Chris Paul averaged like 30 and 12, just running pick and roll over and over and over again. And they just swept Denver, had a ridiculous offensive rating. And back then I was still kind of on this train of like, Jokic doesn't have good defensive help yet. Wait till he gets some length and athleticism around him. There's things he does generally pretty well in terms of playing the level of the screen, rebounding, forcing turnovers that are at least tenable, and then just let the all-time great offense go crazy. And as soon as he finally got the first healthy team of his prime, 2023, they just blitzed the league. And that's when everyone kind of was like, oh, wow, yeah, Jokic actually is that good. And then everyone kind of rewrote history. But I remember fighting like in 2021 and 2022, people didn't even have Jokic as a top 5 player, despite winning back-to-back MVPs. It was crazy. It was crazy times, man.
So yeah, and I'll fall on Mark's sword for that one too, because I still remember because my criteria has kind of changed a little bit since, because like my thing was always, and like our criteria is similar in the sense of like, okay, if you're building a team to win a championship, who do you want? So like I went based on track record. So I still had the 5 guys. I still had LeBron, KD, Steph, Kawhi, and Giannis. So like those are still the 5 guys that I had over him. So I didn't think it was ridiculous at the time, but like if I look at my criteria now, which is more so projecting for the next year, then yeah, obviously Jokic would have been the better choice at the time. So yeah, that's your history of being a Jokic fan. So and so like now let's actually like talk about like the actual show. So I guess like before we get to that, So how exactly did you go about it, or like did someone reach out to you about you kind of told me a little bit on set, but so like how exactly were you either selected, or how did you reach out to them about it?
So what's funny is I'm not really active on Instagram at all. I have an account and I use it to post when I upload and things like that, but I'm not really active in terms of checking messages and notifications. And I get a lot of messages, so I'm usually playing catch up like weeks later, just replying to a bunch of people like, my bad, I missed this. But I happened to be on Instagram when I got a DM from the Clash account. And if anyone doesn't know, Clash is they're the ones who kind of run that specific video on the House of Highlights channel and set everything up. And it was the casting director of the Clash, and they were like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about potentially coming on our show for a video." And that was kind of just, it was what it was. So we connected, hopped on a phone call, and they actually invited me to be the hero for James Harden. They wanted me to come on and do a James Harden episode. And we had a few calls talking about the potential for the James Harden episode, which ended up getting shot. I don't know if it's been uploaded yet, but that did end up. Yeah, it got uploaded. So I didn't watch that one yet, so I don't know what claims are in the video. But I remember during our call, we were kind of tossing claims out there about like what I would potentially argue for Harden. And one of the big things that I kind of told them was, because of the content I make, because of what I do on my channel, I don't want to sit there and make bad faith arguments that I don't actually wholeheartedly believe in or believe are defensible. And that was kind of my thing. And because I know I could go out there and just make the most outlandish claim possible about James Harden, but it's like, if I don't believe it's coming from a place of true belief, I don't want that to be attached to my name on the internet. That's kind of where I was coming from. And one of the claims that got tossed out there was James Harden, it has historically been better in the playoffs than Steph Curry. And I was straight up like, I just don't believe that at all. I don't even know how I can argue that. I just don't think that's a defensible take. So then it kind of got to a final call where we were like, look, I can defend James Harden. I wouldn't say that's my first choice of player that, like, if I'm going to ride for them, I want to defend them and make all these claims and go up against these haters. So they were like, we'll find someone else for Harden. Why don't you give us a list of players that you think you can defend, and then we'll figure out a good spot for you in the near future. So it took a couple months, but I ended up giving them a list of players. And I believe my final list, if I'm not missing anyone, was Jokic, Embiid, Draymond, Westbrook, and somebody else. I can't remember who the fifth player was. It might have been Rudy Gobert. I was like, I know they're not doing a Rudy Gobert episode, but if they did, I'm the guy. And they ended up, we're looking for someone for Jokic. This is perfect. And from there, I just had more calls. We landed on the claims and stuff. So they reached out to me, and we specifically targeted a video that would work for me in the near future.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, maybe you told me that. Yeah, but the Harden one. Yeah, you didn't dive too deep into details like you did now. I can tell you for sure that that I would have been the first one to sign up for the Embiid one. Like, yeah, like we agree on most things, but yeah, we definitely disagree on Joel Embiid. I can tell, and anyone that watches the show can tell you that. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what so like what their planning is exactly for like the other, because like they're never gonna run out of players for sure, because there's like a million players that like go on discourse, and obviously there's players getting drafted around. I obviously I haven't told anyone yet, but like if anyone from Clash is watching this now, if you want me to defend any Boston Celtics player, more specifically Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, I fought for the two of them for my lives after 2022 and 2023, and then it luckily ends up paying off just like it did for you with Jokic. Obviously, I defended Bill Russell against. You're not even a Bill Russell hater there, so I don't even know.
I love Bill Russell.
Yeah,
you hurt my heart when you brought him up, man.
Yeah, so yeah, okay, but like and I just want to add on to my experience for sure, just because because at first I auditioned to be one of the Kobe haters, and obviously like I have Kobe high enough all time. I'm pretty sure like we have him like around the same area. But then I just never heard back from them. But then I still kept on applying for certain ones, and then I said, and then like they had three people. So like one of them was Carmelo. So I know that you're also lower on Carmelo than most people, as am I. So I said, I told the casting agency, I said, oh yeah, I'd love to put in for one of the Melo haters if that's still available. And then she said, sure, let's set up a time to meet. And then as I hopped on, she said, oh, by the way, so we have Melo, and then we also have open ones for Nikola Jokic and Caitlin Clark as well. and I didn't want to be the person that said that's like, oh no, I'm only doing this one and no others. Like, wanted to kind of be open, but I wasn't going to go on and argue about Caitlin Clark because like, as much as I respect the WNBA, I haven't watched a single Caitlin Clark game in ages. So I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll do Jokic because like I don't hate Jokic, but like I'm someone who's been who was critical of him in the past. Like I've come around since, but like I can still definitely make the arguments against him. And it's funny enough that you say that because you list off all the claims that you can defend, and like, though like I couldn't give like a firm stance on our first debate, which we can talk about, which you debated, Nikola Jokic is the most skilled center of all time. I'm not sure if I'm not like 100% sure either way, but I know for sure that I could make the argument for Shaq. But looking back on it, I probably should have made the argument for Hakeem Olajuwon, though I feel like he's probably the second most skilled, unless you think it's someone else that's the second most skilled center of all time.
I thought it was going to be all Hakeem arguments, maybe an Embiid in there. Shaq was definitely a curveball because I feel like he's not the type of guy that ever really gets associated with skill. It's more like athletic advantages and whatnot, right. And then you kind of have to get into the angle. I feel like what's funny is we probably both agree. Like, I do think Shaq at his peak was the best center ever. I do agree, right. But it's like we were getting into the semantics of like what is skill and what is quality of player. And that was just like, yeah, it was a weird conversation. In terms of just like not even like our debate specifically, but just like the most skilled center of all time thing, because there's so many different angles you can attack it. Another one was like I made the claim that Jokic had the most unstoppable shot in NBA history. And I can't remember who, but one of the haters kind of came on and was like, Michael Jordan's more unstoppable, and made a whole argument about Michael Jordan being the more unstoppable scorer, which I 100% agree with. Michael Jordan's the best scorer in NBA history. So a lot of the debates were semantics, and it's kind of hard. I love the format of the video. I had a blast. I would 100% do it again. It is hard to like get a full argument in 3 minutes. And I feel like that's why we ran over the shot clock literally every single time.
Oh, every single time.
Yeah. Every single time. And every time they kept telling me, be mindful of the clock. And I'm like, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm trying to get all my points out.
Well, yeah, because we were supposed to have 7 takes. I'm pretty sure you only have 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a 7th one prepared?
I don't remember what it was. I can pull up the list actually. Okay. Give me 1 sec.
Sure. Take your time.
I will say you guys definitely handled yourself better. With like you said, some of your claims, they would just come up with a different argument like that. Like, I get frazzled when I'm talking shop with AAH here, and I go on different paths and stuff like that. And it definitely, the shot clock was because I've seen clips of this episode, but this series, but I've never sat down and watched like a full episode. So it was definitely interesting. The 3 minutes is not a long time when you're actually debating.
Well, I feel like 3 minutes is a pretty good benchmark where I'm like, I'll be able to get everything I need to get out in 3 minutes. But then the 3 minutes feels like 20 seconds when you're actually doing it. And it's like the buzzer's already going off. I haven't even made a point yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think my last claim, I don't remember. I think this was it. I don't think we talked about this. I'm pretty sure it was outside of Hakeem. Jokic is the best international player ever. I'm pretty sure was the claim.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I think we were specifically trying to target a Dirk. Like, I'm pretty sure the goal with that was to get someone to bring up Dirk.
So it's funny you say that because when I was auditioning, and they were asking the questions, the actual claim, I don't think it was your claim that the one that gave it, but the casting agent said Jokic is the best European player of all time, which I agree with, but still, like, just so I can make the argument, I just argue Dirk just so I can.
So that was the angle we were going for with that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I didn't have the final list of claims until like 10 minutes before we rolled. So I had a general idea of what the claims were going to be because we had a long call before then where we kind of went back and forth, and it was kind of a collaboration in terms of here's a bunch of things I can argue for. Here's a bunch of things I can make the claim of. And then on their end, it was what's going to be the best for the video in terms of conversations, what's going to get the best debates, and what's going to get the most views. And it's funny, we actually like made tweaks to the final list even just 5 minutes before. Like, I remember when they came to me with the page of my final claims, actually the final claim was going to be that Jokic is going to finish his career as a top 8 player in NBA history. Oh. And I was like, I can argue top 5. Let's do top 5. I feel like that just has a better ring to it.
Nice.
So that wasn't the original claim. And what's funny is I don't even know if I 100% would die on the hill of every single claim I made. A lot of them I do believe, like, but a lot of them were 50-50, and it was like, I think it's a strong enough argument that I can make the argument. So in terms of best passer of the 21st century, I don't know who I prefer between Jokic, Kidd, and Nash. But I was like, I feel strongly enough that Jokic has a case that I will make the case. Best offensive player ever, I probably would take Steph Curry. So when someone brought up Steph Curry against me, I was like, shoot, I have to basically like think about how I would counter my own argument. And again, I think Jokic has a strong enough case to where I can make that claim and feel good about it. But most of the claims, like I said, I did end up fully believing. Like, I do think Jokic's floater is the most unstoppable shot in NBA history. I do think Jokic is the best player in the league currently, and all that good stuff.
So, and I'll bring up the second part of the bit. Yeah, we kind of touched on it when I said, when I brought up Bill Russell, because, and like I said, like, yeah, like the first thing I said was like, I thought you were going to say center, but then you said top 5 player. I'm like, oh, I love this. So, but like when I said that, I'm like, okay, so am I going to go the Bill Russell angle, or am I going to go the Larry Bird angle? Because I need to show my fandom somehow. But yeah, like Russell was just easier to debate for, just because obviously the 11 championships and the best defender ever. And
that's where like the 3-minute marker becomes such an issue, because how do you possibly compare Bill Russell to Jokic in 3 minutes when it's like a defensive player from the 60s versus an offensive player from the 2020s? How do you possibly weed out all of the nuances in 3 minutes? You just can't. It's literally just like
100%. Yeah. And like the best comparison to the show, it's not about comparison. Like the big, is the Jubilee ones. Like when you watch their debates, like some of them go on for like 7-8 minutes. So like, so like they really get into it, which like I don't know if this show is the perfect format for that. But like I'll get back to what I was saying earlier. I definitely could have argued with Bird, because like I do think that Bird peaks higher than Jokic, but like you said, Jokic is going to end up having further more longevity. So that's why I did go with Russell, but yeah, like part of me definitely wishes that I picked Bird though, just because the reason that we're the Celtics fans is because our dad was a big Larry Bird fan growing up. So yeah, it would have made him proud. But the fact that I used Bill Russell, I think was just as
and to be honest though, like Jokic and Bird have a lot more stylistic comparisons that you can really go after, and I do think I think the argument went in a completely different direction. Like depending on the player you chose, it would have been a completely different debate. Like with Bill Russell, it's more so what do you prefer? Whereas with Bird and Jokic, it's literally like who do you think was better at these skills, like the better passer, the better shooter, and all these things. Because like I said, they have so many Jokic's closest player comp is probably like a bigger, stronger, weirder version of Larry Bird in many ways.
What's funny because it's Larry Bird, and then like I don't know if like this is accurate, or if he just played too long ago, but I feel like the best old time player to compare him to is actually Bill Walton.
Yeah, in terms of play style, for sure, like the operating from the high post, elbow area, cutters, passing, high vantage point. Although the difference, of course, is that Bill Walton is probably like a top 10 defensive player ever, and Jokic isn't quite there.
Not there yet.
Despite what the defensive box plus minus might say, I don't think he's a top 10 defender of all time.
Yeah. No, and the funny thing is that yes. One thing that we didn't mention is that so we got to the main lobby at the same time, and then they're like, oh yeah, let's go up the elevator, and then like at the last second they was like, oh wait, you're the hero, let's take we'll take you separately. Then you just away from us for like a full hour and a half, and
I just disappeared.
Like, just like and then like people were saying like, and then waiting them, they're like oh yeah, this guy's gonna bring up like Vorp and box plus minus. I'm like no, I've had this comment on my show before. He's not a Jokic guy like that. Like, he's gonna bring good arguments. So they're like that and also like they were saying like, oh yeah, Jokic is like the easiest star to debate against in the league currently. I'm like I don't agree with that at all. But I didn't want to expose myself as like I wasn't I knew I wasn't going to be the biggest Jokic hater there, but I didn't want to expose myself. So I was like, okay, I was kind of just like agreeing with what they were saying without like further going into it, because like some of them just like it wasn't just a matter of like they just didn't think he was that good. Like some of them really didn't like him.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I do think like in terms of what the points I made while debating, the statistical stuff is always in the back of my head. I'm more so geared towards like the lineup and plus minus stuff. I'm not too big on the box score stuff. I'm more so like looking at different permutations of lineups. Is Jokic a consistent variable in the best Nuggets lineups? Obviously he is. And things like that. And how does that compare to other stars? What type of impact does he have on the team when he's on the court versus off the court? And actually it was funny because it was fresh in my mind right when we landed the Jokic video and like it was getting set in stone. I had just uploaded a Jokic video talking about how easy he makes it for his team to score at the rim, like his 4 teammates to score at the rim. And that was like a big theme throughout the debate. Like that is something that's very valuable. If you can give all 4 of your teammates layups, there's nothing you can do on the court that is more valuable than that. That's also a big reason why Larry Bird's an all-time great, Magic Johnson, Steph Curry, these guys, they give their teammates layups. And I think like that type of stuff is very valuable statistical information. But when I go into a debate and when I'm trying to talk about basketball, not once does it cross my mind to be like, well, this guy's a higher box plus minus. I just don't think like basketball is such a nuanced sport. There's so much that goes on both sides of the ball that you miss if you blink. I'm not going to boil it down to a catch-all metric, one number to score a player. I just don't think that does the sport justice at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, John, Matt, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but yeah, do you have any questions about to either of us about either the experience or like any of our takes regarding Jokic?
I just have a comment, John. In the pre-show before we started, Tyler said it was his first time in New York City. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
What'd you think?
I loved it, man. I was there for 4 days. And I feel like I experienced like 2% of what I could have experienced just in like the Manhattan area. I'm from the Chicago area. We were talking about it. And I was like, Chicago's a big city. There's a lot to do. Getting to New York was like a culture shock. Like it's so much bigger, so much more active. I don't even think you can drive in New York.
I like, we sometimes like our grandma used to live up there. So we would have to like drive through like the streets of the city to get there and then drink it. It's the worst thing in the world driving there. It's like God just like picked up like the top 1,000 worst drivers in the world and just dropped them in this little like grid. But yeah, the city's great. I've been there for about, a little over a year now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I could never. There's aspects of it I love. I love like all of the people. I love the activity. I love how there's unlimited things to do. The food was amazing. I personally love driving, so I could never live there. That's just like that's my deal breaker. I was like, I could go there. Like I will definitely go back. I had a great time, and I want to I want to go to a Yankees game. I want to go to. I did go to a Knicks game the first day I was there, and that was awesome. Oh, nice. It was the Knicks Magic game where Desmond Bane threw the ball at OG Anunoby. So that was pretty cool. And that was a great game to go to. But I would also like to go there when it's not like frostbite just smacking me in the face.
Yeah.
Like the second day we were there, we were outside for like 10 hours. And every time you get to a new block, you just get smacked in the face by the wind. And it's like,
wind tunnels.
It's not a good time.
Like I go in the morning, I like shower, like put some stuff in my hair, and then I like get ready. I'm walking out to the subway to go to work, and then a gust of wind just ruins everything, and then my hair is ruined the entire day.
I will say to dispel the narrative, at least from my point of view, and again, I was mostly in the Manhattan area. We did walk down to like the World Trade Center area too, Wall Street and all that. It didn't smell. I don't know. I've always heard New York smells like garbage. I did not smell it at all. The one thing that kind of threw me off was the steam coming out of the sewers. I don't know why that's a thing. That's not a thing in Chicago at all. Chicago does not have that.
I don't know what that is. Like
I asked multiple people while I was there, and they were like, none of us know why that's a thing. But it's also a thing in Grand Rapids, Michigan too. So I don't know. There's something about Grand Rapids in New York that the steam comes out. But I think in general. Oh yeah, the other thing. There was something else I was going to get to that like dispel the narrative. Oh, I didn't see a single rat. That was another thing I heard. There was a bunch of rats. Are they only in the subways? Because I didn't use the subway at all, but I didn't see a rat.
They're mostly in the subways. About like, I want to say like 3 weeks after I moved into my apartment, there was a rat in my living room.
That's not fun.
It was scratching on my bedroom door, and I'm still a little scared about it. I almost
you hear it at night. It's like it's still there.
I almost I was on like animal adoption apps, like looking for cats to see if I could just get like an assassin that could just take out any rodent that like makes its way into my apartment.
That's valid. I would do
Yeah,
the same.
no,
I'm not gonna lie. But
cats
yeah,
are cool
me
when it comes
personally,
to that, you know.
I didn't see a rat. I did see the trash, but I didn't smell it. And I didn't see a rat. So I will say, dispel the narratives. New York's a great city. I also just like cities, so maybe I'm biased, but
No,
New York's
I
awesome.
agree. I think all the stuff you see online, like anything really, like the most you're gonna see is like negative stuff, right? Because people like, a lot of times don't like putting out positivity. And you just, you kind of pick your spots throughout the city. A lot more good spots than bad.
There were some things I missed. Like I missed I never went to Times Square, which was weird. Like I don't know why I didn't do that. It just like didn't cross my mind. And I would assume that's kind of anticlimactic. It's just like a cool thing. You look around, you see it, and then it's like it is what it is.
Yeah.
I also didn't have any New York style pizza while I was there.
Whoa.
Which I need to.
That was a mistake.
I've got unfinished business in New York. I need to go get that New York style pizza.
I haven't
probably
tried
my favorite thing
Chicago
in
style pizza.
Sorry,
I
say it
haven't
again,
tried
Don.
that yet. I said I haven't tried Chicago style pizza yet. I got to try that
Chicago
out.
deep dish, man.
Yeah, I heard that.
My
it sounds
personal
good.
favorite is the Detroit deep dish. I think that's the best.
That's what I've heard. All right. I gotta start taking some notes.
Good to know. Okay. So, good talk. I was happy we were able to revisit this. I'm definitely going to send this over to Clash, and hopefully they can take a watch at this too. But so the one other thing we wanted to talk about today was that voting for the All-Star game finished up on what was it? Yesterday, so Wednesday. And it's funny because usually it's announced on TNT, which used to be on Thursdays. So last year when we did this, we were able to like react to it, and then even and last year, like when they announced the starters on Thursday, Matt's other friend Matt and I, we all sat down and we all gave our picks for the reserves like literally that day. So it was pretty cool. But we're gonna have to settle for just picking our starters today, and then next week, John, Matt, and I probably just go over our reserves from there. But yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah. For now, we're gonna go over our starters. So yeah, the criteria is different this year. It used to be pretty like, first of all, like if I'm mistaken, I think a long time ago it used to be 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center, but they made it less segregated for centers, but making it 2 guards, 3 front courts, but now they're just making it positionless altogether. So Matt, Matt, like what's your exact opinion on that? We kind of talked a little bit about it before, but we really give or take. What's your opinion on making the All-Star game completely positionless?
I guess it makes sense. I mean, like it's kind of like when they went away from it's kind of like when they went away with it with the All NBA teams, and that it's positionless as well, but people still kind of vote with positions in mind. So that's kind of what I did in a way with my starters. But I guess because it's a very guard heavy league now. But I get it, but I kind of keep it traditional a little bit.
John, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before in the past. Just like the league is just trying to find different ways to get people to watch this and just make it, I guess, more of an exciting thing to watch, which you can't really fault them for. But I think we all kind of agreed, like, you could try as many things as you want. It won't really matter unless you kind of get some more buy-in from the player side. But I'm all for the league trying everything they can to kind of make this a little bit more exciting.
100% agree. What do you think, Ty?
Yeah, I when I was looking at my Eastern Conference All-Stars, that's when I was like, thank God it's positionless.
Yeah.
Because the front court is just so astronomically so much, like it's so much weaker than the guard play in the East. Like there's like 6 or 7 elite guards, and then you've got like just barely any bigs. Like I was thinking about it in the traditional format of 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. Who would be the starting center in the East? Would it be?
It would probably be either Katz or Jalen Duren, I'm assuming.
Right. Like that's
Nemes
crazy
Keita?
to think about. Compared to the West, you've got Jokic and Wemby. That's just like completely lopsided. And then the second forward in the East, I guess it'd be Jaylen Brown if he was considered a forward. But if not Jaylen Brown, it would be Jalen Johnson probably. And it's just like, again, compared to the West, where it's like KD, LeBron, Kawhi Leonard. I'm glad it's positionless. Just in terms of evening out the East and West, because the East is so guard heavy.
All right, Ty.
To the West.
We're gonna take a quick pause. Yeah. Ty, you a baseball guy? Yeah, I know you said you've been to a Cubs game, but okay, do you follow baseball? Do you follow baseball or no?
A little bit, not like crazy. Why?
Okay, so breaking news: star Kyle Tucker who was on the Chicago Cubs last year, he signed with, you guessed it, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh
okay,
my
so
God.
I do know that's outlandish.
Yeah,
I know enough about it.
Yeah, John's about to crash out. So, the rumors were that he was going to either sign with the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, or the Mets. It was looking like yesterday that like the rumors picked up that maybe the Mets, but then no money yet. So I don't know what the deal is, but the Mets offered him 50 million per year supposedly.
There's going to be a lockout next year.
Yes, there is, and it's going to be a very long
baseball
time
for a while. Yeah.
No, it's going to be. I don't even know how long it's going to be. Like, I don't know if it's going to be the full year, if it's going to be half the year, but it's not going to be.
This is how you grow the game.
Yep. So, yeah, lovely. So,
so in terms of a lockout, are you saying like you think teams are gonna like they want a salary cap? Is that
That's the owners definitely want a salary cap. The players are very against it, and like there's a new. Is it called CBA in baseball? It is CBA in baseball.
Yeah.
So they have their meeting at the end of this season, and there's a lot to discuss, whether salary cap and deferred money on contracts and stuff like that. So I don't think there'll be baseball for a while after this season.
He's probably the fourth best player on the team. Like, he's probably third ahead of Mookie at this point, but it's
I don't even know about that.
Mookie had a down year last year, so
yeah,
I'll say that. But like, I definitely would have put Mookie ahead of him before last year. So I don't. All right, so yeah.
What a loser!
The good old days of Ohtani on the Angels.
Sure do, yeah. So, and then Passon also just tweeted out a 3-way trade. Just a couple of things here there. He must be just trying to distract the word from exploding by tweeting other news, just trying to move past this one as if it's not going to totally break the internet. All right, but let's talk about more important things. Let's talk about our NBA All-Star picks. So, Tyler Carter kind of already answered, saying that he didn't go positionless at all.
And by the way, I said I did go kind of positions. I just looked at my East starters. I did not go positions at all. I went very positionless.
Okay, so Tyler. While me, John, and Matt calm down a little bit, why don't you give your pick for your starting picks for the All-Star game?
So I'm a little bit worried I forgot about somebody on either side, but I don't think I did. In the East, I had 3 locks. Three locks just based on, and I want to quickly mention like what my all-star criteria is. It's essentially, and obviously this is like kind of obvious, it's the best players. And I don't really go for, I know a lot of people with all-stars kind of go back and forth where it's like, maybe it's the players that will put on the best game, that are the most exciting to watch, the biggest names, or just like, basically just like the biggest names. And I've always had the argument of like Rudy Gobert is an all-star versus like who people actually want to see in the all-star game. Because Rudy Gobert, like, what is he going to play defense, drop defense in the all-star game? I just go for the best players. And in my opinion, and I'm sure you agree, the best players are the most valuable ones, the most impactful players. So I just went for, in my opinion, the players who have been the 5 most impactful in each conference. So far this season, for All NBA, I consider games and stuff. I kind of didn't consider games at all for this. I was like, if you're going to be healthy for the game, then you are good in my book. So my 3 locks in the East, 2 of them are kind of obvious. One of them I think is just having a very slept on season. I had Giannis, Cade, and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is having an absurd season, like one of the best combo guard scoring seasons in NBA history. Just absurd volume, really good efficiency. Everything's dialed in for him right now. The Cavs are just underperforming, so I feel like people are sleeping on the season he's having, which is funny because I'm pretty sure, didn't he make All-NBA first team last year with like a down year? So it's really weird. Donovan Mitchell, I feel like the narrative's never been on par with the way he's playing. Cade and Giannis, I feel like are kind of obvious. They're just two, like they're both just having incredible seasons. I think Cade, everything he's doing as a floor raiser for Detroit's offense, the playmaking, the fact that he's taken another step forward on defense, just like the perfect star player for Detroit. My last two spots came down to like a three-headed race. You will probably be upset with this. I did cut Jaylen Brown off at the very end. Oof. He was my sixth guy. I gave the nod to Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Brunson. And it was tough because I do think in theory, Jaylen Brown does more on the court for Boston. But I also don't think at this point, with the offensive load he has and with the way that team's constructed, he really carries much of a defensive load outside of very key matchups. Where it's like in the Clippers game, he was all over Kawhi. That was a monster defensive game. But in the average game, you've got guys like Hugo Gonzalez, Jordan Walsh, Derek White taking the primary point of attack matchups. Jaylen Brown's kind of saving his energy for offense. And then, of course, Boston, again, just continues to overperform in terms of like what their expectations are. The fact that they have produced like a +7 or +8 net rating with Jaylen Brown off the court is absurd to me. I did not think that was even possible. So it was tough to leave Jaylen Brown off because of everything he's done offensively, the way he stepped into that number one role. But I do think Maxey and Brunson have just done more as creators, and especially Maxey, just like the efficiency he's been able to hit this season with playing like 40 minutes a game, just kind of absurd. But I do think Jaylen Brown could easily be in over one of those two if you preferred his play style.
So, you're very brave in the sense that you just saw that the three of us weren't distressed the fact that Kyle Tucker didn't sign with the Mets, and then you're also piling on by telling us that you don't think that Jaylen Brown is an all-star starter. So, props to you for sitting on principle and not just trying to please us there. John or Matt, whichever you want to go next can go. John, why don't you go actually?
Okay. I think I was between a couple. No, let me start over. I kind of had four that I was pretty steady with. I felt pretty good about. There were two players that had like the 5 and 6 spot. But for me, I'll start with, very unbiased opinion. I do have Jaylen Brown as my all-star starter. I just think the expectation for him, I think we even had some negative expectations for him going into this season, thinking that, he was going to kind of see those double teams that Jason Tatum gets all the time, and he wouldn't really be able to do much with them. He has been, very, very good. I think metrics probably took like let's say like a eighth of a step back defensively, but that just kind of comes with taking on a little bit more of a load offensively. So I do have him starting. I got Cade as well. He's on my Dynasty Fantasy team. Oh, no, he's not on my Dynasty Fantasy team. Okay, maybe I think I played him a few times in my fantasy leagues, and he kicked my ass throughout the entire week. So I have a lot of respect for him. He's doing awesome stuff in Detroit. I do have Tyrese Maxey on my All-Star team and on my fantasy team. He's been unbelievable this year. Another guy who probably went into the season with maybe, a lot of people, kind of thought, what's it going to be like with PG coming, with PG hurt, Embiid hurt, it's kind of his squad. So I have him, and then Giannis, of course. And then it was really between Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, and I gave the nod to Brunson. Solely because I think the Cavs really got off to a relatively slow start. They're at 7th right now. I'm sure that they're going to kind of make a run towards the end of the year, but the way Brunson kind of, he quarterbacks that Knicks team that's been playing very well this year, and that, it's not an unflawed argument to make that just to go based on like team, but I think they're in similar situations, and that's why I kind of gave Brunson the nod over Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I have a couple things to say. One, Kyle Tucker is an all-time loser and a dweeb. I can't believe he signed with the Dodgers. 2, Tyler, you're like, yeah, do you want to see Rudy Gobert drop in defense in the All-Star game? Yes, I do want to see that. That'd be awesome. And then 3, my 5 starters are exactly like John. I have Brunson, Maxey, Cade, Giannis, and Brown. I didn't realize Maxey is averaging 30.5 points this year. Like I thought it was
Unbelievable.
like high 20s. I didn't expect 30. He's third in the league right now. I think he's just behind Luca and SGA. So yeah, those are my five. Like I said, it was, there were six guys really to pick out of to make five spots, and I kicked out Mitchell because also the Cavs are underperforming, which is very unfair because it's not really his fault that the Cavs are underperforming. But I gave him Brunson the nod over Mitchell. One, so my Nick Vance friends don't come for me after this episode is out, and two, just because Brunson is playing super super well with a new coach. He's had to deal with a lot. Karl Anthony Towns his stats are pretty similar to previous years, but they have taken a little dip. But if you watch him, he hasn't been playing as well as he did last year in the Tibbs system. Now with the Mike Brown system, he's still adjusting. So Brunson has had to carry that load a little more than compared to last year. So yeah, I have him over Mitchell, and the other four are like John.
So, yes. So just like Tyler, I had a couple of locks. So, and I'll actually say that I did go the angle of going not positionless, but so like I for one have been a strong advocate of going not positionless, but going two guards, two front court, and a wild card. So that so like I've like debated that for a few years now. That being said, there would have been at least two, maybe even 3 seasons that Jason Tatum would have made second team All-NBA, not first team All-NBA, because Joel Embiid actually probably would have been voted onto that All-NBA team ahead of him. So, yes, so in a way that's good that happened. But so that's how I went about it for this one. So my two guards that I went, both these were locks. I went with Tyrese Maxey and Cade Cunningham. Cade obviously the leader in the 1 seed. I don't know what his on-off metrics are, but they're, obviously the Pistons are looking great and he's obviously just quarterbacking their offense. And then Maxey is just playing phenomenally. Embiid's been playing much better as of late. Matt and I talked about it last week, but towards the beginning of the year, he just totally wasn't in it at all. And even like Paul George, Jared McCain, they're having disappointing seasons. Yeah, really the only one outside of Maxey that's been good is VJ Edgecombe, and still the Sixers are floating around like the 5-6 seed. So definitely give the full credit to Maxey there. And then my third lock is Jaylen Brown, mainly just because I'll get into why the other one isn't a lock. But yeah, Jaylen Brown, I can't say enough good things about him. Even my whole thing with him this year is that not only was he going to be facing doubles, but also people are forgetting he's literally coming off a torn meniscus. So, which I know that's like not nearly as bad as like an Achilles or an ACL, but still, like it's the fact that he played on it against the Knicks is definitely admirable. Even if his play style didn't really help them in the first couple of games, but still, definitely deserves all of his flowers there. And now he's playing some of his best basketball. Probably the best basketball of his career for sure. I'll say that. And then I'll say this. I usually have like a criteria where if I'm voting for you to make the All-Star game, you have to have 30 votes total. 30 games in order to make the All-Star game, and then 25 to make the All-Star game, and then 30 to be a starter. That's usually my principle, and I kind of want to stand by it. But and when I posted my video yesterday, I did stand by it. But I don't know if I'm backing down now because I did have Jalen Johnson starting ahead of Giannis because Giannis has only played 26 games. But that being said, if you really think about it simply, would you rather have 26 games of Giannis or like 38 of Jalen Johnson? I think all of us would agree that 26 games of Giannis are there. So like that's what's going to get. Yeah. So like I even as much as I want to stick with my own criteria at the end of the day, I'm going to swallow my pride and say maybe that's not the best thing to do. Oh, the Celtics won, and they came back. I think they were they're down big. So yeah, good for So at least there's one thing to celebrate about. Anthony Simon, shout out 39-4-4.
Jeez.
Yeah. So good for him there. And then my last guy, obviously I'm extremely biased. D Mitch is my guy. Let's go Mets. I did go Donovan Mitchell over Jalen Brunson. I fought Matt's friends tooth and nail about why I think that Donovan Mitchell is better than Jalen Brunson. Brunson has been better in the playoffs the past few seasons, but I still do think that Mitchell is a slightly better both floor and ceiling raiser, depending on how you look at it. And I just think that he's been built a bad hand with injuries and stuff. And this year, though, the Knicks have been a much better team. Yeah, I fully think that it's not Mitchell's fault at all that the Cavs have been worse off, and I think that they would be in very comparable situations if they switch spots. Not that that's the best way to compare two players, but yeah, but still, yeah. Shout out Donovan Mitchell, and I just I even said heading into this year, I said the Celtics aren't going to be contenders, so I guess the Cavs are going to be the team that I root for, and unfortunately, and not unfortunately, I'm having the Celtics do better, but the Celtics are playing better than the Cavs. I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm solely a Celtics.
Holy
fan
shit!
What?
Kyle Tucker's deal is 4 years, $240 million.
Okay.
60
Holy
million.
shit!
All right. Okay.
All
I
right.
guess yes. Slightly less of a bitch move, as we said, but because 60 million is a lot, but okay.
That's wild.
Oh.
All right. So we were pretty similar for the most part. I think that the only thing we different, Tyler didn't have Jalen. I didn't have Brunson. I think everything else we were exactly the same on, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the only thing that we were a little different on. All right, cool. So we still do have a little bit of time. Yeah. John, Matt, and I are probably going to do our All-Star reserves next week. But we still have a little bit of a time, and so whenever we do have time to do extra things, sometimes I like to pull up some trivia questions, kind of like Tyler's been on Nerd Sesh with Carson and Logan before, and I don't know if you've ever participated in any of their top 10 things, but that's what we're going to do now. So since we started off the episode talking about,
Did we do our West?
Was it?
Did we do our West?
We didn't do West. Jesus Christ, no, we didn't. Yeah. Thanks for calling me out there. No, we did not do the West. Yeah, so why don't we go the same order? Yeah, Tyler, why don't you give your picks for the West?
I've got one lock. Rudy Gobert. No, I'm playing. I'll be completely honest. I could not narrow it down to 5. I still can't. I have 3 locks: Luka, Shea, and Jokic. Those are easy to me. After that, I have 4 names, and I do not know how to separate them. And I guess we can kind of talk it through. I kind of want to hear your guys' opinions before I kind of narrow down my 2. I've got in this group, and let me know if I'm missing anybody, but my 4 kind of cutoffs are Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Wemby, and Kawhi. I don't know what to do with those 4 names. I don't even know. They're all in this exact same tier to me, where it's like they're just below the MVP level, but they're right there knocking on that door. And it's like, I don't know how to separate them, because it's like, I could go for the Clippers have easily been the most underwhelming team of the group, so Kawhi should be cut off. But it's like, when Kawhi has been there, the Clippers have been a very good team. And when he's on the court, they've been almost an elite team from the worst team in the league without him. So how can I really hold that against him? Same thing with Wemby, with what he does for that defense, especially San Antonio looks like an all-time defense when he's on the court. And without him, they just look like a fine defense. With Steph, he literally is Golden State's offense. When he's not there, they can't even play basketball. And he's having a prime season. And Anthony Edwards doesn't have the same sort of signal in terms of when he's off the court, Minnesota's still great, but he's putting it all together in terms of the at the rim efficiency is way up. His mid-range efficiency way up. He's still shooting 40% on volume 3s. And it's I just don't know how to separate any of these guys. So I kind of want to see where you guys go with it. And maybe I will play devil's advocate and pick somebody else or agree. So
I actually have another name different on my 5, which I don't know. It was between him or Wemby. And I was talking kind of like Chris's thing. I was like, you need to play a decent amount of games for me to think you should, be in an all-star game. But then again, the East, I'm like, Giannis is, the best player in the East. He definitely should be in the All-Star game. So like you said, I have a couple names. I have a little more than 5. I have Jokic, Luka, SGA, which are my top 3. Then I have Anthony Edwards. I had between Anthony Edwards, Denny Advia, and Steph Curry. Denny Advia might be a little bit of a homer pick. Every year, my friends and I pick a crappy team, and we take their over and wins. And last year, we took the Trailblazers, and they absolutely crushed the over. And I have Denny Advia on my fantasy team this year, and he's been awesome. Granted, do I think Wemby is a better basketball player and more known and more fun to watch? 100% yes for every single aspect. But I think Wemby's only played 25 games this year. So I did take that into consideration. I would probably go with Anthony Edwards and Wemby and have Denny as a reserve or whatever they call it. Anthony Edwards has very similar numbers to Denny, and he's taking 9 threes a game, I think, and he's shooting like 40% from three. It's super underrated how he's just become one of the best shooters in the league from three as his career's gone on. The last couple of years, he's like totally increased the number of threes he's taken, and he's still shooting at an elite clip. So I'm a big Anthony Edwards guy. And then Wemby, like you said, you mentioned it. The Spurs are just like an all-time great defense with him on the court. So in conclusion, I have Jokic, Luka, SGA, Anthony Edwards, and Wemby.
Sounds good. John?
Yeah, I mean, that was my 5. I just went, you said it in a different order than me, and I was looking at it too. But yeah, SGA, Jokic, who is on my both my fantasy teams this year. I know he's been a little hurt recently, but what a life to live with him on your fantasy basketball team. It is
I think I had him 3 straight years.
It's amazing. Like I think my girlfriend commented on increase in my mood whenever he's playing. You know, it's just like my fantasy team runs my mood. So
he must be very happy these past couple weeks. Then he's 12-0. He has the greatest fantasy basketball team I've ever seen put together. It's unbelievable.
It's good. I have Jokic, Tyrese Maxey. Who else? I even got Durant, who's back. Happy he's back.
But some of us have Trae Young and Sabonis as their first and second round pick. Wow. So it's awesome being 4-8. And I'm playing John this week, and he's gonna censor. I've been cursing too much on this episode. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. No worries.
He's been beating me quite soundly.
Age restricted on this episode.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, just to echo Matt, I had SGA, Jokic, Luka, Wemby, and Ants. Kind of had Steph. You know what's funny? I actually considered for a second putting Jamal Murray over Ant, but I think Ants just had Ants had a better year. And I think Jamal Murray, who has been awesome this year, I think he almost tailed off a little bit a couple years ago. But I think he kind of gets hit with, okay, you're playing with the greatest basketball player in the league right now. Like you kind of get nerfed a little bit in that way. But he's had a great year. So definitely I don't want to say honorable mention, but first reserve, I would say in my book.
All right, so similar to Tyler, I definitely had a hard time picking between certain players, but same locks, SGA, Luka, Jokic, and this is with my formula: 2 guards, 2 front court, and wild card. So SGA and Luka, obviously the 2 guards, Jokic the first front court. He would have made my threshold anyway. Now even though I got rid of it, so he's played 32 games, and my first front court is Kawhi Leonard. And I understand Wemby's been awesome this year. He's probably been better than Kawhi on a per game basis, but Kawhi's been phenomenal this year. People aren't realizing it. Kawhi was actually one of the players that we talked about, Tyler, when you were on my show the last time, because I know people underrate him because of his injuries, but when he's and I know it's kind of something that people they kind of say as a joke now, oh, healthy Kawhi, but no, it's an actual real thing. And I'll pull it up. So the Clippers are at a +4 with him on the court, but then they're -7 with him off the court. So that's an 11-point swing. Everything there. So he's definitely been the second best front court in my opinion. I don't know who else, outside of Wemby, I don't know if there was another guy that I was considering. I don't think there was. Maybe
I would say not to cut you off, but I feel like Kevin Durant is having a pretty underrated season. I wouldn't consider him over Kawhi or Wemby, but Kevin Durant is still just being Kevin Durant.
Absolutely.
It's so casual.
Unbelievable.
It's
so underappreciated.
Just chalk him in for an efficient 28. It's just do it.
Yeah.
I was doing the player comparison just on StatHead just to go through, and I was like, what's Kevin Durant shooting this year? And I'm like, he's averaging 27 on 50, 40, 90 splits again, basically. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. And then my last wild card was Anthony Edwards. I low-key feel like he should be a lock as well. If we're doing positionless, I feel like he's definitely been the 4th best player in the conference. But I'm someone who's been really critical of him in the past. But I feel like beginning of this year, I kind of said I'm dropping the Ant hatred. I feel obviously I don't necessarily think he should be a role model for kids. I don't think he should be the face of the league, but still, he's an absolute winner. He's he's a competitor. I know that was one thing people were concerned about heading into the league, but he's a winner, and he plays hard, and he just playoff riser as well. It's another thing, not that it matters for the All-Star game, but Yeah, so SGA, Luka, Jokic, Kawhi, Anthony Edwards. So again, like pretty similar on both sides. But Tyler, did you want to give your 2 extra picks if you decide?
Yeah, I'm ready to lock it in. I'm gonna lock in Wemby for my 4th spot. It's mostly the defensive impact aspect of things. He just warps the court on that side of the ball. It's insane. Every key matchup, you just see teams don't want to go to the paint, and it's like he just eats up so much space that like it doesn't matter what San Antonio does defensively. He's gonna clean up almost every mistake, and then he does that while also being such a transformative offensive player. I don't think he's the type of guy that you can throw the ball to and it's like, all right, go get us a good shot, like run our offense through Wemby. I think he can still get there, but he's still pretty raw in that regard. But just in terms of like the gravitational pull he has all over the court, everywhere he go, like if he's rolling, if he's popping, if he's trailing in transition, if he's going on the offensive glass, if he catches the ball in the post, like the entire defense has to shift to him, whether he has the ball or not, because it's like if you lose him for a second, he's going to just reach into like an 80% layup. So there's not much you can do. And so I just think in terms of the value he has on the court, he might not put up like as aggressive of a box score as some of these other guys. With like Kawhi, you get these 50 point, you get like 40 points for a week, 40 points per game for a week while leading the league in steals. And you get a 55-point game and all this stuff. You get 30 points per game close to on the season. You don't get that with Wemby, but it's just like the overall totality of his game. He can shoot 3 for 18 and have an MVP type of impact. It's absurd. In a similar vein, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. No one had him. I'm going to give Steph Curry my 5th spot. And I think historically I'm high on Steph Curry. I always have been. That's my guy. But I think Steph Curry somehow after 4 championships still just gets like shafted in a lot of conversations. And it's mostly the fact that I think everyone historically acknowledges the rare, unmatched, unrivaled effect of his combination of shooting and movement, right? Like the way that just deteriorates defenses and gives him an argument to be the greatest offensive player ever, because it's just like defenses panic the moment he crosses half court, whether he has the ball or not, because it's like, if he gets a good shot, it's like giving up a layup. And the effects of that, the way that creates layups and driving lanes and so many opportunities for teammates, there's nothing like it. And I feel like in historical conversations, everyone kind of acknowledges that. But when it comes to current conversations, I always feel like everyone defaults back to the box score comparisons with Steph Curry. Like the fact that he's averaging 28 points and 5 assists on 65% true shooting or whatever it is right now. Absurd. But that's in addition to the fact that these other things still exist. There's still the gravitational pull. There's still the weird spacing effect. There's still the fact that he's going to give his teammates endless layups, regardless of the lineups that are on the court, where it's like Draymond is our second ball handler for 30 minutes a game. I think it's an absurd impact. I think there's nothing like it. And I think this season, with the way he's been scoring inside the arc and the fact that he's having like a career year getting to the free throw line because of some of the new rules, he's just like having a prime type of season. And regardless of how the Warriors have performed on the standings, I can't overlook a prime Steph Curry season because the offensive impact is just outlandish from that guy.
All right. Yeah. Great stuff, guys. So, to review, Tyler had SGA, Jokic, Luka, Wemby, and Curry. John had SGA, Jokic, Luka, Anthony Edwards, and Wemby. Matt had the same 5. And then I had SGA, Luka, Jokic, Kawhi, and Anthony Edwards. So we're technically over, but I still feel like we could squeeze in a little top 10 trivia. It shouldn't take too long. If you since I brought up earlier, but so Nikola Jokic was drafted in 2014. Can you tell me the top 10 players with in points scored of that draft?
Wow.
I'll give you guys hints along the way.
So Jokic is 1.
Jokic is 1.
Is Embiid in that draft?
Embiid is on the draft. He's number 5.
Okay.
Who was the first overall pick that year?
First overall pick.
Was it Bennett?
Wiggins. It was Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins.
It was Wiggins. Wiggins is number 2.
Yeah.
Was Nerlens Noel in that draft?
I don't know if he was, but he's yeah. He doesn't cry.
Shout out Nerlens Noel, dude. That's a hooper. I love Nerlens Noel, man. averaging like 2 steals a game as a big. Shout out to Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, if he didn't have bricks for hands, he would have been a pretty good NBA player, I think.
It's funny that I said his
2014
name, and we couldn't tell if he was just not in the top 10 or if he was not drafted that year. Like, yeah, both ideas could be plausible there.
So 2014, I believe we're gonna get Rudy Gobert in the top 10 scorers, right?
Was he drafted in 2014? But no, he's not in the top whatever for scoring.
He must have been drafted in 13 then.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Because Rudy Gobert, like, would Sneaky have a lot of points? Like, just a bunch of years of averaging like 14 points a game.
Starting. Yeah. Let's see. So we have
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart is number 13.
Damn it.
2014 is a weird draft year because I feel like 2015 is where you get like Booker and Cat and D'Lo.
Yeah.
And all these guys, but, like,
Jokic was is it Aaron
Randall?
Gordon?
Julius Randle?
Aaron Gordon's number 7. Julius Randle is number 3.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
So we're missing number 4, 6, and 8 through 10.
4,
I will say the
6.
number 8 is often compared to Aaron Gordon. Like they're like pretty similar in styles of play. I'm pretty sure I heard someone suggest over the summer or the summer before that the two of them be traded for each other.
Aaron Gordon.
Who plays like Aaron Gordon?
I feel like
Trying to
a
think of-
lot of guys get that description of like this guy can play the Aaron Gordon role. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I've heard that.
Yeah,
for, like,
that's true.
different
Yeah.
guys.
So I'll say he was mentioned earlier. Okay, no, sorry, he wasn't mentioned. His team was mentioned early in the episode as far as it goes for rooting for. If we want, we can also just skip past that part. I don't want you guys overthinking that one. But we have one more All-Star, and we have a few solid role players after that.
Is
I
Derek
believe
Jones
that
Jr.?
Is not on the list, but I don't know.
I don't know what year he was.
Was
I don't
this
think
the,
he might have been later. He might have been like 2016.
Was Zach LaVine taken in this draft?
Zach LaVine is number 4.
Okay, cool.
Good. Yeah.
Was he the one that you were saying?
No.
Because dunk contest to Gordon? No, okay.
No. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That would have been a good.
That's a
count.
good. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
That would have been a good comparison too.
Yeah.
Who
So
gets
number 6.
compared to Aaron Gordon.
Okay, so number 6 has won an award in the past few years, like past 3 to 5 years, I think.
When was Malcolm Brogdon drafted? He wasn't
Was
14,
just
was
about-
he?
Malcolm Brogdon was 2017.
Yeah, he was rookie of the year that year, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh no, 2016. Yeah, it was Jaylen Brown. So yeah, 2016.
Hmm.
So you're on the right track with thinking that way, Matt.
Sixth man
Come
of the
on.
year?
Yeah.
So who won it? It was Brogdon. Pritchard won it, and then
I don't know if that guy won in between or if he won a couple years before.
Tyler Hero.
Thaddeus Young? No,
Thaddeus
there's
Young.
no way. Joe Ingles?
No, Joe Ingles is number.
Oh, it's Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson's number 6. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
I think he
4,
averaged
5,
over
6,
20
7.
one year, Clarkson.
Joe Ingles is number 17.
Hey, shout out to Jingles, man.
All right, and then
If you told me Joe Ingles was drafted in 2005, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so yeah, the one guy that I compared to Aaron. I don't know if he's actually compared to Aaron Gordon or if I'm just thinking about the one guy that said like they should trade him for Gordon, and I thought like okay, yeah, that makes sense. He was someone that like I thought was gonna be an all-star one day, but then he just kind of fell off. He's on a very big contract, I'll say that, or was. I don't know if he still is, but he was getting paid a lot of money.
On a very big contract, thought he was going to be an all-star, fell off. Should have gotten traded for Aaron Gordon.
I have another guess, though.
Harrison
not him.
Barnes?
Not Harrison Barnes.
Oh, good guess. Was Dennis Schroeder taken that early or no? I mean,
I don't know
that
if he
long
was.
ago?
No, I don't know if he was or not.
He might. I think he might have been 2013, 14.
Yeah,
'cause
I
know
feel like
that's
he's
what
been around
Harrison Barnes
forever.
was.
Yeah.
Because Schroeder, I feel like Schroeder was on the team with Jeff Teague and all them, and Corver and all them. Man, who could this be?
So, Chris, what are we missing? 8, 9, and 10?
8 through 10, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay, so I'm trying to think if I can give other hints. So number 10 plays like a very specific role. I shouldn't say that specific. Yeah, he plays like a very traditional role. I don't want to give you we're running.
PJ Tucker.
I want to give you guys a shot to answer the questions, but yeah, I also don't want to stump you too much. But I'll say this. So this one guy was on one of the better teams of the late 2010s that did not win a championship.
The 2018 Rockets.
Okay.
Gerald Green?
No.
It's not PJ Tucker, right?
It's not PJ Tucker.
Who was the Clint Capella?
Clint Capella, number 10.
I was good.
I
Yeah,
forgot he was drafted that early, man.
Yeah.
I forgot
I
he
feel
was
like he got drafted in like 21.
I feel like he
He's been-
spawned on the 2018 Rockets, man.
He did. Well, like there was like that stat that like whenever CP3, Harden, and Clint Capella played, they were like 33-1 at one point.
I think they were. Yeah, I think they finished the season like 50-5
Yeah, something like
with Harden, CP3, and Capella. That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got two more.
Two more, yeah. Yeah. So I already gave you like the play style for one from Eric Gordon. The other one is like a pure scorer. Doesn't he's a very good player. Okay, so he was on one team, got traded to another, and then was traded back to that team.
On one team, traded to another.
I don't know what team he's on now though.
Then was brought back. When you said that, it made me think of Mason Plumlee, but he's not a scorer, man. he's
I
back
hope
on the
Mason
Hornets.
Plumlee's not on this list.
He's got to be.
Okay,
Somewhere,
so,
yeah.
Man.
Okay,
What-
so he was okay. So how about this? So he was on one team. I don't know if he was traded to another, but eventually he was traded back to that team for like a superstar caliber player, superstar, all-star, however you consider that could have in 2023. I want to say
2023 was that Kevin Durant trade?
No,
You got traded.
you're on the right track.
Harden got
No,
traded in 2023.
Okay, the other one,
The other one,
not KD or Harden.
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Okay,
Gets
Was
traded to
traded
the
to the-
Mavericks. Spencer Dinwiddie.
Spencer Dinwiddie's number 9.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Great pull right there.
Shout out to Spencer Dinwiddie, man. He's on the Hornets now. Or actually,
It
no,
is
he
the
wasn't
Hornets. Okay, yeah,
He
I
got
was-
released. I think he got released by the Hornets. He might be a free agent.
He didn't play a game for the Hornets this year. No, he hasn't played a game for the Hornets. Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
he's
was
a free
traded to the
agent.
Hornets. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, I think he was released. So yeah. All right, the last guy, I'll just say it. I think he's still on Matt's favorite team. And yeah, again, similar to Aaron Gordon.
My favorite team?
Who's your favorite team?
No, like your agenda, like not your agenda team, like the one that you.
Oh, the Blazers?
Was it
Or-
Jeremy
Yeah.
Grant? It's
It's
Jeremy,
Jeremy
Grant.
Grant.
Nice.
Yeah.
My boys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, there was like a 2-month span where he was like playing great basketball. I'm like, is he gonna be an all-star? And then like he just never came back since. And then
Yeah, he
but,
got
like,
hurt.
but the Blazers thought he was gonna go back to that all-star form, and they just gave him that thick contract. But then I'm pretty sure he's still on. But
So
Yeah, I didn't even Jeremy Grant didn't even cross my mind. But when you said gets compared to Aaron Gordon on a big contract, you thought he was going to be an all-star. My mind was like, this is totally OG Anunoby, but he was not drafted in 2014. Like, there's no way.
yeah,
But
but
then he
like
fell off, and I was like, OG didn't fall off. So
Yeah.
it can't be.
Jeremy Grant 2 years ago, I watched a Trailblazers Grizzlies game with Marcus Smart on the Grizzlies, and I was playing my roommate in our fantasy basketball league, and he needed Jeremy Grant to get him 25 fantasy points, and he had like 23 at half, and then he just did not get it in the second half. So I will forever love Jeremy Grant. He's my guy.
all right. So yeah. Before I give my little sign-off thing, Tyler, what do you either have coming up or like, anything else? Anything you want to plug?
No, just Hoop Venue on all platforms. If you're into basketball analysis, that's all I got, man. Planning some pretty big videos coming up, so just stay tuned.
Yeah, literally right before we hit record, he uploaded a video about the history of isolation. So it's
Cool.
ISO basketball. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna take a look at that once we're done with this. But
Appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah, Ty, yeah, great connecting with you again. I'm happy we were able to debrief on our show, and yeah, hopefully other people from the show are going to be able to join us too in the coming weeks. But yeah, John, Matt, as per usual, thanks for coming on. This has been another episode of the All American Hoops podcast. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at American Hooper on Twitter, at All American Hooper on Instagram and TikTok. Be sure to check out my column on sportsfluent.com. And another thing with Sportsfluent is we're starting a new show next week. It'll be Chilltown Influence. debating with myself and Ori B moderating. So it'll be it'll be a fun time for sure. But this has been another episode of the Armored Hoops podcast. Until next time, keep grinding and stay hooping. Have a great night, everyone.